Hello Flosstube, my name is Amy Michelle. This is my channel Amy M Makes, my little corner of the internet where I get to talk about all the things that I've been creating, mostly cross stitch, also knitting and crochet, but I put that at the very end so that if you're not interested in seeing knitting or crochet, no worries. I'm just happy to have you here for whatever portion of the video you find interesting. I have been stitching quite a bit. I've got some finishes, some whips or works in progress. I have a couple knitting projects and a crochet project to share with you today. If I look a little windblown, we had the windows down as we were driving around town today because the weather is beautiful. It's in the high 60s, which is amazing. I love the fall weather. I'm super thankful that it's chilly enough to not feel like I'm sweltering, but not so cold yet. It's a perfect fall day. So I hope wherever you're at, you're enjoying fall weather and having lots of fun stitching time and enjoying the holiday season approaching. I mean, Halloween's right around the corner. It's one of my favorite holidays. I love Halloween. I only have a little bit of Halloween stitching this year. And surprisingly, I'm already feeling the urge to stitch Christmassy things. So I actually have a little bit of haul to share with you today as well. That's, I think all Christmassy things. So that's fun and exciting. I've already started one Christmas project and it feels, for some reason, not too early. I'm just really enjoying the upcoming holiday season, I suppose. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and get into it. I will start with finished objects. Finished object number 1 is Prairie Schooler acorns. I fully finished a couple of these. I think, let's see, the school, I think it's a school. It might be just a house. Finished the house, the building, and the leaf motif in the last Flosstube. So if you're curious how I fully finished those, you can watch the very last Flosstube, I think number 7, and see how I fully finished those. This time I have the crow with the pumpkin and the squirrel. I finished them on a board from Hobby Lobby. That was silly cheap. I mean, it was silly cheap. See if we can get a screen grab too. $2.49, and it was on sale for either like 40 or 60% off. So $2.49 plus a good chunk of change off. So it's very, very cheap. And I just mounted them with sticky board and a little extra fabric. I had leftover yarn from a sweater that I knit a while ago, and so I just hot glued that around the edges, because in large part because I'm terrible at corners. They're hard for me. I don't know if they're hard for everybody, but they're hard for me to get nice corners. Yeah, not there yet. I'll keep practicing. And then I got these leaves at Hobby Lobby too for a few dollars. And I pulled off the plastic, like the plastic that runs through to keep them sturdy. I just peeled that right off and glued them together. And this thankful was with, I think the 3 sayings were thankful, grateful, and blessed, also from Hobby Lobby. Yes, those were cheap too. And I painted it. My daughter had some black paint that I borrowed. They were just a natural wood color, and I thought black would tie in with this fabric a little bit nicer. So that is my fully finish for Prairie Schooler acorns. I stitched these with all the called for DMCs on, looking at my notes. If I look down, I'm looking at my notes. 18 count Rustico Natural Aida. And I think I've mentioned each time I've shown these that they are 2 threads over 1, because it's an 18 count Aida. And I didn't know, because I'm not super new, right? I cross-stitched when I was a kid, but then I didn't cross-stitch at all again until I think I was in my 30s, mid to late 30s, and dabbled in it here and there, but didn't actually really start picking up cross-stitching again until probably this last year. So anyway, I didn't know about doing one thread. I'd never even thought about doing one thread until I watched Flosstube and thought, oh, I bet that would work better on the 18 count. So next time I use this fabric, I think I will do try doing one thread over one on the 18 count Aida. But that is my finish number 1. And then the next one is Fall in Love from the autumn 2024. Just cross stitch, sorry. This is what theirs looks like. And it is, let me look who it's by. Matt and Me Design. Matt, M-A-T, and Me Design, right there. And this is my fully finished. This was a WIP a work in progress, last Flosstube. Same board from Hobby Lobby, again for less than $2, I think. I picked up 2 of them and used floss from Stash. I think this is Weeks Dye Works Pelican Gray, Weeks Dye Works Onyx. Let me see what else I used. And DMC 919 and 922. Fabrics from Hobby Lobby, the bows from ages ago at Joanne. That stuff lasts forever. But see what I mean? My corners, not that great. Corners aren't that great. I'm still learning, but that's okay. It's finished. It's good enough, right? That's my go-to is it's good enough. I have it up. I'd rather have it up as good enough, not perfect, and enjoy it than wait till I've figured out how to get better at it. And I guess that's how you get better at it, isn't it? Just practice. So this is practice. And it's fun practice. I really have been enjoying fully finishing my cross stitches. This was stitched on 14 count white Aida that I coffee and tea dyed. I started it October 1st and finished it October 8th. So that's Fall in Love. And then my Halloween fully finished came from here. I cover my address from the Halloween Just Cross Stitch. And this one, see if I can do this. This one in the top corner is what I did. I can't show you the page because the chart's on the same page and I don't think I can show the picture closer without showing the chart. So that's this one. It's called All Hallows Eve. And this is my fully finish. I was inspired by a new to me, and she's relatively new to Flosstube, just started here recently, is the Story Stitcher, Joanne. I think she showed in one of her recent videos that she found frames at thrift stores, and I thought, oh, that's right, I gotta check thrift stores for some frames. So thank you, Joanne, if you're watching. I don't know if you're watching, but if you are, thank you for the good recommendation to check thrift stores, or showing that you did that so that I could be inspired. And I found this one at a local thrift store for, I think, $3.99, and it had the glass and everything in it. It was in good shape, but I just took the glass out, glued. There's a lot of hot glue on this one. A lot of hot glue, but it was fun to do. I found, I think this was Fall Florals at Joanne, and had this dark fabric from the other finishes that I've done. And then I didn't know Juicy Couture makes yarn now. That's a new to me thing. I had no idea. So I got some, and there's a little bit of this like velour velvety yarn around the edge to cover my corners. But I stitched this with clearly all kinds of different colors. There's their version, it's more Halloween. and that's mine. I don't know, I just felt like pinks and browns. I didn't feel like traditional Halloween colors. I have pink in my bedroom in the room that we're in, and I thought that would be cute. I love bats. I've got a bat blanket, I've got a couple of bat things, and I wanted to stitch this one in a way that matched the room better. And so I could display bats maybe even longer than Halloween season. So that is my finish. It's just on your standard 8x10 frame. I covered this with sticky board, and I think I got to use a couple little scraps of sticky board, so I was very minimal cost-wise. Let's see, I stitched this on a 14 count. It was a tan Ada that I coffee tea dyed, same batch as all the white Ada that I coffee tea dyed, but it started out tan. And I used a handful of DMCs. I will put the DMCs that I used for this in the description box below. So if you're curious to know what I used, check the description box and I'll list out the DMCs that I used. So that is All Hallows Eve. I think those are my only three fully finishes, but then I finished Fairy Garden. That was a whip or work in progress, a last Flosstube. I started this one, the last one, All Hallows Eve, I stitched in like a week too. It was a quick one. But this one I started in June and I finished it in this last couple of weeks. It is on a Charles Craft 28 count tea dyed Irish linen. I did not get around to fully finishing it. I'm kind of having trouble finding fabrics, finding, what's the word, like trim or like chenille or things like that, to fully finish this one. So if you have a place where you go, besides like the big box stores, to find supplies for fully finishing, please let me know in the comments below. I have a local needlework shop, not too far, but if there's places that you guys like to go, or tips, or got strings hanging, let me know where you find treasures to fully finish things. So anyway, that is Fairy Garden. This has mistakes. It has lots of mistakes in this one. I don't know if you can tell, this one's like way up high because I miscounted here, and I just wasn't about to redo it. I wasn't about to frog it. I will frog if I realize a mistake recently and it's like easy enough to pick it out or like clip the threads and pull it out. If I find that I made a mistake ages ago, I don't go back and frog it. I don't do that. But anyway, yeah, I still like it. I think, whose Flosstube was it? Recovering Book Hoarder? Is that right? I think that's the name of your channel. I will link it below. Said something to the effect that the mistakes make it mine, and I like that. And so the mistakes make it mine. And there were new stitches in this one. There were, I think, call them Smyrna cross stitches, eyelet stitches, and then 1/1 stitching for the initial. And I really enjoyed learning the new stitches for this. It was really fun. I love the color palette. I actually used a lot of these colors in the All Hallows Eve piece just because I was enjoying them so much. And I used the DMC conversion they give you, or like, yeah, the DMC conversion that they give you on the pattern itself. They tell you the DMCs, and that's what I used. So those are my finishes. I think that's it. Yeah, 3 fully finishes and 1 finish. So not too bad. Definitely enjoying having my stitchy bug back. Still really enjoying stitching on all the things. And I think anything else that I missed? I don't know if I did, if I missed something, or if you have any questions, as always, please feel free to leave them in the comments and I will be happy to answer them. And now we'll move into, what are we gonna move into? Works in progress. First work in progress is a digital pattern that I have from Mama Witch X Stitch. I'll put the picture of the pattern here so that you can see what it looks like. And this has been a whip since February, March, April. I started this one in April of this year, 2024, and I'm slowly working through it. I'm enjoying it. This is my progress. If I can figure out if I have a picture of where I was the last time you saw this, I will put it up here to show you what I've been able to get done in the last couple weeks. I mostly finished his or her, I think it's a hit, I don't know. I finished the bat's face and the moon, I think. I think that's what I did. And maybe I did work on the little ghosts. But again, I will hopefully have put a picture up so that you could see where it was the last time I worked on it. I am working on, the fabric is a 14 count Aida from Fiber on a Whim in Night Sky. And I think I mentioned this last time, it's very, very soft, softer than I would like. And, but it's just, I think it's so pretty. I love the modeling on it. You can't really see, I'm not gonna iron, sorry. I don't really love ironing. You know, it's funny, I did when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I would go over to my grandma's house and for fun, I would just like iron towels and sheets and whatever else she gave me because I just loved ironing. Not so much anymore. So I usually don't iron until I am fully finishing something. That's when I'll iron. But that is Midnight Crafter, Mama Witch X Stitch. And what's next? Let's see. Honeybee Quaker, I pulled this one out and worked on it a bit. Got a good amount done. This one's by Primrose Cottage Stitches. Started this in June. I am stitching it on the called for 25 count white Lugana. Oh, and the Midnight Crafter, I'm using all the called for DMCs. Also using all the called for DMCs for this one. That's my progress. Again, if I can, I will put a picture here so you can see where I was versus where I'm at now. And I find this is my first time stitching on Lugana, and I really like it. I actually got a 28 count as part of my haul that I'll show later to see if I like stitching on 28 count Lugana. I think I will. I really like stitching on 25. So that is Honeybee Quaker. And then the next one that I have is the, oh, what do they call it? Free Stitch Friday, I think, by Primrose Cottage Stitches. I'll put a picture here of what it looks like. And it's the first time I have gotten the Free Stitch Friday pattern that I learned that they did that. I'm probably behind, on knowing that was a thing, but somehow saw it maybe on Facebook or something. And so I subscribed to their newsletter and got the pattern, and it's been fun to stitch. This one I'm leaving in the hoop because everything I've stitched is in the hoop, but it is called Boos, Hisses, and Cross Stitches. And I splurged and I got a new little ghosty needle minder with the pumpkin It's actually part of the haul. I'll just show it here since it's quick. But I got some new needle minders, and I'll put a picture here. I don't know. I do know. One second. I was gonna say I don't know. Sorry, zipper. The Etsy shop, but I got them on Etsy, and it is CaffeinatedCatCrafts, and this is their card. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but that is the Etsy shop. If I remember, I will put it in the description box below. But I love all the needle minders that I've gotten, and needle minders are so fun, aren't they? It's like jewelry for your cross stitching. Anyway, that's my progress on Booze, Hisses, and Cross Stitches by Primrose Cottage Stitches. Called for, I think, 32 count Stormy Night Belfast linen. I am using a different mix of DMCs and fancy floss. So I will put what I'm using down in the description box below. So if you're interested in knowing what I'm using, you should be able to find that information down below. But it's been fun. This is my first time stitching on 32 count linen. I've only stitched on 28 count so far, and I think I prefer the 32 count. I like that the stitches are closer together. I like that the holes aren't as big, right? I'm enjoying that. I don't know at this point if I'd want to try a 36 count. At some point I might, but right now 32 count I'm really enjoying for this stitch. I use glasses. I have a pair that I keep with my cross stitching stuff. They're just the cheap, sorry for the glare, the cheap Michaels. I think I got these at Michaels for a few dollars, and I need these for anything more than Ada. Like if it's a linen or a Lugana, it doesn't even really matter. Even the 25 count, I find that those just help my eyes enough so that I can see more clearly. And then I also found at the thrift store to frame, I think I'm going to use a frame for the Booze, Hisses, and Cross Stitches. See if I can get it without the glare. I found another frame for $3.99. So that was, sorry for the glare, but that was a good deal at the thrift store as well. So when I finish this one, I'm ready to go. And I found really cute fabric at Joann's. Was on sale. I think it was 60% off. I think what did I get? I think I got a half a yard for like $1.61, maybe, something like that. But I'll show it. Hopefully I'll get that one done before the next Flosstube, and you'll be able to see that fully finished. That's kind of a goal of mine, is to finish that one in the next week or two. And then my last work in progress is a Christmassy one. It's Noel Heart by River Drift House. I actually kitted this up in 2020. I think spring 2020. I had the fabric and the floss and the pattern and everything sitting in my little cubby right here, just waiting, and it just felt like the right time to pull it out. So I got a decent start. And I really like this fabric. It's a 14 count Ada. What is it? Called, it's 14 count vintage smoky white Ada. And that's my progress on Noel Heart. All the called for DMCs. And I wasn't sure if I would enjoy stitching all these little motifs, but I really do. it's very rewarding because you get like a little mini finish, sort of, each time you finished a little motif, which I really like. So I've been enjoying that one. I don't know if I'll work toward getting it done for Christmas this year. I don't know. Well, I think I'm just enjoying it, and I'm gonna go at whatever pace floats my boat. And yeah, I enjoy stitching maybe a motif or two or a few each day. And I think that is it for the works in progress that I've been working on. Let's see. Yes, let's see. Oh, I didn't mention, so the last two were new starts, and the other ones I did talk about that. So anyway, enough of my ramblings. We will move along to, what are we moving to? I'm having a brain lapse. One moment, processing. No. What is there left? I guess haul. I'll talk about haul. So the haul that I have is basically 3 Christmas patterns and the fabrics and the floss to go with them. So I'll show them each project at a time. The first one I got is, what is it called? Tart Tin Snowflake Ornaments by Stony Creek. Hopefully we can get that without glare. So I just thought that was really pretty and would be really fun to do for Christmas gifts. Christmas gifts. And I got, of course I folded the tag inside, 14 count driftwood Yorkshire, did you say Yorkshire? Yorkshire, I don't know, Ada. So I'm definitely going for a little bit more of like a rustic vibe than the navy blue, but I think it'd be really fun to stitch, and I think they're really cute. And then I have, or I purchased, a couple of Classic Colorworks Snowball to go on there, so I thought that would be fun. It's not that different than DMC Blanc, which is what I usually use, but I thought it would be fun, since I'm going to be stitching a handful of them, to go ahead and get a fancy floss. And then it calls for beads, so I wasn't sure, sorry for the bead noises, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do the white or the pewter, so I got both. So I think I may end up doing the pewter, but I'm not sure. Let me know what you think. What would you do, the white or the pewter? I'd be curious to know. I may do a couple beads on there and see what it looks like, but and then if I do the pewter, I pulled out, I have DMC 645 to kind of camouflage a little bit better with the beads. So that's my first, I don't know, haul. That's kind of how I like to shop, I guess. I don't really have much of a stash. Again, like I said last time, that's about the extent of my cross-stitching stash. I have a couple of books on a bookshelf, but like 3 or 4. Other than that, my cross-stitching stuff's right there. I have a little cabinet for finishing, like that has my iron, my glue gun, my sticky board, my rotary cutter, but in terms of stitching, it's right there. So when I shop, I like to have the project, like the pattern, the floss, and the fabric all kitted up if I can, and that way when I'm ready I can just start stitching on it. So that's kind of my vibe, if you will. The next 2 patterns I got on sale from Box and Fox on Etsy. The first one is, it says Merry Christmas 33. like Merry Christmas .33. So I'll put a picture here. I got the next two patterns for like $3.09. They were having a good sale, so that was exciting. And then the fabric I got for that was a 16 count parchment Aida. It's been a little while since I've stitched on 14 count, I think, or excuse me, 16 count. So I think that'll be fun. And then all of the called for DMCs, except I am going to use white instead of the yellow for the little snowflakes. So that's that next one. I'm excited to start the Christmassy stitches. I think this one of the snowflakes I may cast on this weekend, maybe. And then the last piece of haul that I have is also the second Box and Fox pattern from Etsy. This one says Christmas 242. So Christmas .242. And I've seen this one for a while. It's been on my Etsy, not wish list, what do they call it? Like the liked. It's been one I wanted to stitch for a while, and then when they went on sale, I thought it's a sign. And so I got the fabric for that, which I'm gonna do on a 28 count. Again, like we talked about earlier, I am excited to try out a 28 count Lugana. So this is a 28 count mushroom Lugana, and I decided to go for fancy flosses. I got mulberry, so I'm totally changing the color scheme. I'm doing it real Christmassy. Mulberry, Banker's Gray, and dried thyme. And then there's a little bit of Weeks Dye Works Tatanka, which I had in stash, so I'm going to use that one, oops, for like I think it's mostly like eyes, the animal's eyes and hooves, so I don't think I'll need that much of that. But then I did do DMC Blanc for the white in the pattern, so that is what it'll be. And then I got a couple extra. I bought some, but I'm really excited to have this all kitted up and ready to go. So that is my haul. I think the only other thing that I've been buying recently has been books. Like I mentioned, the Story Stitcher. I love Christian romance books, inspirational romance, I think. I don't read it very often, but especially when it's well written, I love it. And these are incredibly well written. I've read this first one that she wrote, Be Still My Soul, in like 2 days, 2 evenings. It was so good. So I started reading this one, the second one, and I'm almost done. So I'm gonna finish that tonight, and then I have the third one up there. So anyway, highly recommend. Love reading them. If you like gripping stories that are not necessarily easy to read in terms of like the emotional complexity and the depth, and there's check content warnings, like if you're sensitive to certain difficult subjects, there's definitely difficulties in these books. They're tough, but they're so well written, and it makes them wonderful. And so when I've been stitching and knitting and doing my crafty things in the daytime, and then when I get sleepy in the evening, I read them and stay up way too late. So that's kind of what I've been up to, but that's part of my haul, I suppose, is those books are the other things that I've bought in the last few weeks that I've been really enjoying. And again, I'm just so grateful to have good stitching and good stories and things going well. So I will move into knitting and crochet next. If you are just here for the cross-stitchy goodness, thank you so much for watching. I'm so thankful that you spent some time with me. Please feel free to, again, leave a comment. I love reacting. That's not the right word. Responding. Oh goodness, excuse me. Responding and having conversations in the comments. I love getting to know you guys and hear from you, and it's just a joy and a delight. So leave me a comment, please, if you feel like it. I'd be happy to answer questions or just chat. Let me know what you're working on, the things that are bringing you joy right now, the things that you're thankful for. And anyway, we'll move into knitting and crochet next. So if that's not your thing, see you in the next one. If you're gonna stick around, awesome. And I will move into knitting projects first. My first knitting project that I've been working on is a pair of socks for my husband called Business Casual, and it is by Tanis Fiber Arts, and I'll put a picture here of what the socks look like. I've finished one, my first sock, and sorry, I've got like my cable needle and everything tangled up in there. And I finished the leg and the heel and the gusset, and I'm working on the foot of the second sock. So that's where I'm at on these, and I'm using Knit Picks Stroll Tonal fingering weights in the color Thunderhead, I think. Pretty sure it's the color is Thunderhead. So that is that pattern that I've been working on, and I've really been enjoying it. I am using, what needle size am I using? I use the same needles for pretty much all my socks. US 2 or a 2.75 millimeter needle, which is a little bigger than I think most people typically knit socks on if they're fingering weight, but I'm a tight knitter, so I tend to go up a needle size for a good amount of things, but definitely socks, I knit most of them on these needles. So that's project number 1, and I'm keeping it in this cute Halloween bag that I got last year. I think I got it last year. And this is from Grace's Cases on Etsy. My second project is, I think it's called The First Sweater. I'll put a picture here of what the pattern looks like. And I have split for the body and the sleeves, and I'm working on the body. Let's see if you can lean back. That's where I'm at. And I really enjoy this pattern. It's the first time I'm doing, I think it's a half fisherman's rib for the sleeves. First time doing a folded collar. And I am using, also Knit Picks, Heatherly Sport Weight in the color Agave. So that's, we'll focus. Hopefully you can see that. And I will put a picture of I think the last time I tried it on here, so you can kind of see what it's starting to look like. So that is my second, it's just two, I've just got 2 knitting projects. And then I also worked on, for crochet, my Scrappy Granny Square blanket from Nitty Natty. I will put a picture here of the pattern. And then I just have one to show you because I put the other ones away. I'll put a picture here of my piles of granny squares, but I got another one done today. I was visiting with my in-laws. We have pizza with them every Saturday, most every Saturday. And so I got this done while we were over there. So I have to weave in the ends still. But yeah, I think this makes it, since the last time you've seen this project, I think that's 16 squares that I've done. And I have I think just over 100, and I think I'm aiming for 120, if that's right, something like that for the blanket. But on the picture, there's a skein of yarn that I think is going to be my joining color. I have a handful of skeins that I got over the summer or maybe last spring that I've just kept. I got the mix, the words, the squares are a mix of different leftover fingering weight yarns. I think they are all 75% merino wool, superwash merino wool, and 25% nylon. I wanted to have them very similar, so in terms of like washing and wearing, they would wash and wear the same, or at least very similarly. So it's a mix, but the joining color is Cascade Heritage sock yarn, I think, which was getting hard to find, and I wanted to make sure I had enough. And I think the pink is okay. It's a little bit more bubblegum pink than I thought it was going to be because I ordered it online. But I think it's going to be okay. There are definitely some pink tones in the yarns and the squares. And it's not going to be like, it's not going to take up a lot of space. I think it'll be okay. I think it'll be all right. I'm hoping it's not too in your face pink. So I do want it to be pink, obviously. I bought pink, but I don't know when this one's gonna be done. I've been working on this project for years now, and it's such a handy project to have for like visits with family and friends, and just something to pick up and work on that's very portable. I'm looking forward to when I get to join the squares, but at the same time then it's not a portable project anymore. So there's positives on both sides, I suppose. So anyway, that is my knitting and crochet from the last bit of time. I hope that you enjoyed seeing the projects. I'd love to know what you're working on, if you're working on anything yarn related or cross-stitching, whatever projects you have been enjoying. Let me know in the comments below. I think that'd be fun to know. And I am just so thankful that you spent your time with me. If you've stayed this long, I really appreciate it. I appreciate all the time that you've spent with me. I know your time is precious. I don't think I have anything else. I think that's it. So in that case, I will see you in the next one. Thanks again.